adventurer. I'm so thrilled you've decided to join me today. My name is Alara, and I'll be your guide on this wonderful journey through one of nature's hidden gems. I've walked these paths countless times, each offering its own unique embrace, and today I get to share this with you. Let's take our first steps together. As we begin, imagine the gentle morning light peeking through the dense canopy above us, bathing the forest floor in hues of gold and green. Each breath you take is pure and fresh, filled with the earthy scent of damp moss and wildflowers. It's early, and the forest is just waking up, stretching out into the new day, just like us. Take a moment to truly feel the ground beneath your feet. The path is soft, covered with layers of fallen leaves that cushion our steps. With each step, feel the slight give underfoot, the rustle of the leaves, and the sense of quiet anticipation that fills the air. It's as if the forest is whispering secrets, waiting for us to discover them. Now, as we walk, let your hands brush against the ferns that line our path. Notice how the dewdrops cling to the leaves, sparkling like tiny stars caught in the morning light. Isn't it magical how the simplest things can hold such beauty? These forests are full of such magic, hidden in plain sight, just waiting for us to slow down and see them. I often find that with each visit, the forest reveals a new layer of itself to me. Perhaps today, it will reveal something new to you too. Maybe it will be the melody of a distant bird song or the playful dance of a butterfly. The forest is alive, breathing, and existing in a rhythm all its own. As we share in this moment, we become a part of that rhythm. As we move deeper, let me share a little secret about this place. There's a certain spot not far from here where the sunbeams find their way through even the thickest parts of the canopy, creating a natural spotlight on the forest floor. When we get there, we'll stop for a moment. Close your eyes and face upward, letting the light warm your face. It's like the forest's own way of saying, "You're welcome here." Have you ever noticed how the air changes as we walk? It gets cooler, fresher, and somehow fuller. It's as if the trees themselves are breathing it back to us, enriched and renewed. Breathing in this air, I often feel like I'm taking a little piece of the forest with me, inside, with every breath. And with every breath out, I give a little piece of myself back to it. I hope you don't mind me chatting as we walk. I find that the stories of this place are too rich not to share. Like the one about the old oak we're approaching. Look at its massive trunk, twisted and gnarled with age. They say it's over 300 years old. Imagine the stories it could tell if only it could speak. It's witnessed centuries of history, sheltered countless creatures, and stood firm through storms that have felled lesser trees. It's a true guardian of the forest. Just beyond the oak, the path curves slightly. I always love this part because it feels like the forest is about to unveil another of its mysteries. With each curve, a new scene is set, and the forest shows us another piece of its infinite tapestry. What will we discover around the corner today? Another hidden nook, perhaps, or a sudden splash of wildflowers that weren't there last week? Thank you for walking this path with me, for sharing in the quiet joy of dawn in the forest. Each visit is a journey, not just through space, but through time and sensation. With each step, we travel deeper, not just into the forest, but into its soul, and perhaps into our own. As we continue, let your senses lead. Hear the whisper of the leaves, feel the subtle changes underfoot, see the light shift and play through the branches. This is just the beginning of our journey, and there's so much more to see, to hear, to feel. Let's step forward together with open hearts and eager senses, ready to greet whatever wonders lie ahead. This is your adventure, after all, and every step is a part of the story you'll tell. Let's make it a beautiful one. As we venture deeper into the heart of the forest, I want to draw your attention to the little wonders that surround us. Each tree, each leaf, each tiny insect plays a role in the intricate web of life here. And as we walk, we're part of that tapestry, woven into the day's narrative alongside the flora and fauna. Let's talk about the trees we're passing. You might notice the variety, some tall and straight like sentinels of the forest, others twisted and stooping, each adding its character to the landscape. These are not just plants, they are storytellers, witnesses to history. They breathe life into the forest and, in return, sustain it with their presence. Now, if you reach out, gently touch the bark of this ancient cedar beside us. Feel its texture. The rugged exterior protects it from the harsh elements and the scorching sun, much like a wise old sage wearing a cloak woven from years of experience. This tree, like many others here, has survived countless storms. Each scar on its bark tells a story of resilience, a testament to enduring through adversity. Let's pause here for a moment. Look around. This is a perfect place to immerse ourselves in the essence of the forest. Imagine the roots of these trees stretching deep into the earth, intertwining with one another, creating a network of life beneath our feet. These roots, they don't just anchor the trees, they connect them, allowing them to communicate and support each other. It's like a natural internet, with whispers travelling through the woodland. As we resume our walk, I'd like to share a bit about the smaller inhabitants of the forest. The insects and small creatures here might seem insignificant at first glance, but they are the true labourers keeping the forest alive. Take the humble ant, for instance. These tiny architects work tirelessly, contributing to the decomposition of dead matter, aerating the soil, and helping to pollinate plants. Their role is vital, though often unnoticed. And then there are the birds. Even without seeing them, their presence is felt through their songs. Each melody has a purpose, whether it's a call to a mate, a warning to others, or simply a song of joy. These sounds are the music of the forest, compositions that have evolved over millennia. As we move forward, let's shift our focus to the understory of the forest. This layer, right below the canopy, is where much of the forest's biodiversity thrives. It's a nursery for young plants, a haven for wildlife, and a gallery of nature's art. The shrubs, the small trees, and the ferns make up this vibrant community, each species adapted to life in the shade of giants. Observe the ferns here. They are particularly fascinating. Ferns are ancient plants, older than the mountains. They've survived ages, seen the world change around them, yet here they are, unchanged, still spreading their fronds in a quiet celebration of life. There's a lesson in that, I think. A lesson about persistence, about the quiet strength required to endure through time. As we continue, I want you to reflect on what we've seen and shared. The forest is not just a collection of trees and plants and animals. It's a community, a complex, interconnected ecosystem where each element supports the others. It's a reminder of how interconnected our lives are with the world around us. Before we proceed to the next part of our journey, let's take a moment to just be. Breathe in the cool, moist air. Let the serenity of this place fill you, touch you deeply, remind you of the beauty and complexity of the natural world. Thank you for walking with me, for listening to the stories of this forest. Each step we take is a step deeper into understanding, not just of the forest, but ourselves. As we walk on, remember that with each step, we're not just observers here. We are participants in this ancient, ongoing story of nature. Let's tread lightly, with respect and wonder, as we continue our adventure together. Are you ready to see what lies ahead? The path forward promises even more wonders, more stories to be a part of. Let's move on, with eyes and hearts open, to whatever the forest chooses to reveal next. As we make our way to a particularly tranquil spot by the stream that gently winds through this part of the forest, let me tell you about one of my most cherished experiences right here in the heart of nature. It was early in my days as a guide, when every path seemed new and every turn held a secret just for me. This place, with its gentle murmur and the soft carpet of moss underfoot, became my sanctuary, my place of deep connection. It was a morning much like this one, crisp and laden with the scent of pine. I was walking alone, learning the language of the forest. You see, each forest speaks, but not in words. It communicates through the rustling of leaves, the dance of shadows and light, and the scent carried on the breeze. That day, the forest spoke to me of solitude and companionship in a way that touched something deep within. I had paused right here, where we're standing now, and closed my eyes. I listened. The stream whispered its age-old song, a melody of flowing water that seemed to wash over my thoughts, clearing away the clutter of everyday life. It was then, in that moment of stillness, that I felt a profound connection to the world around me. I was alone, yet enveloped by a presence far greater than myself. The trees, the water, the very air seemed to embrace me, to acknowledge my presence as part of a larger whole. Let's just pause for a second, here and now. Imagine feeling that connection, that thread linking you to every leaf, every stone, every ripple in the stream. It's a powerful feeling, isn't it? It reminds us that we're not merely passing through these woods. We are, even if momentarily, a part of them. That day changed me. It deepened my respect and love for these wild places. It taught me that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Nature is a great companion. It listens, it comforts, and it teaches. Over the years, I've come to see this place, not just as a forest, but as a living, breathing entity capable of joy and sorrow, of growth and decay. Now, as we continue, let me ask you, have you ever felt a moment of unexpected connection? A moment when the world seemed to open up and reveal a little more of its essence to you. These moments are gifts, subtle and profound. They remind us of our place in the grand tapestry of life, of our smallness and our importance all at once. Here, in the embrace of the forest, we're reminded of our vulnerabilities and our strengths. Like the trees around us, we face storms and sunshine. We grow, we bend, and sometimes we break. But through it all, we are rooted in the world, part of a community of life that supports and sustains us. As we walk, I hope you feel this connection, not just to the forest, but to the essence of life itself. It's a connection that teaches us to value the small things, to find beauty in the quiet places, and to understand that each of us, like each tree in the forest, has a role to play in the story of the world. So, let's cherish this walk, this conversation. Let's store these feelings and memories like precious treasures, and let's carry them with us as we go back into our lives beyond the forest. They can be a source of strength, a reminder of the peace and beauty that exist quietly and persistently beneath the surface of our day-to-day existence. Thank you for sharing this part of the journey with me, for listening not just to my stories, but to the silent stories of the forest around us. As we move forward, let's keep our hearts open to whatever forest chooses to reveal next. There is so much more to learn, so many more stories waiting just around the bend. Are you ready to continue? There's a sense of anticipation in the air, as if the forest is eager to show us more. Let's not keep it waiting. Let's walk on, together, and see what other secrets this wonderful place is willing to share with us today. As we gently tread further along this path, let me guide your imagination to a place where the forest opens up to reveal its more elusive inhabitants. It's a serene clearing that we're approaching, a space where the sunlight kisses the earth more warmly, and where creatures often pause in their secretive traversing's. Picture, if you will, the delicate steps of a deer, its eyes wide with the innocent caution of the wild. Now, as we near this natural gathering place, let me share a bit about our gentle neighbours. Deer, you see, are creatures of both curiosity and caution. They remind us of the balance between exploring the world around us and protecting our own tranquility. Observing them can be a meditation in itself. They move with such grace, each step measured, ears twitching at every subtle sound. Imagine with me, standing just on the edge of the clearing. We're hidden by the last few trees that mark the boundary between the dense forest and this open space. Here we pause. It's not just a pause in our movement, but a pause in our very being. A moment to blend our presence with the air, the light, and the shadows. In this quietude, think of how we, much like the deer, must tread lightly in our lives, stepping with care and thoughtfulness. Each choice, like each step, should consider the terrain, the potential ripple it might create in the pond of our surroundings. And as we stand here, imagine seeing a doe and her fawn at the edge of the clearing. Their heads are bent, nibbling on some tender shoots of grass. The fawn, still dappled with the white spots of youth, stays close to its mother, its little sides heaving slightly with the excitement of the morning's grazing. Let this scene be a reminder of the tenderness and vulnerability that we all carry within us. Like the doe watches over her fawn, we too are guardians of our families, our values, our inner young. In our care, do we not reflect the same mix of worry and wonder, caution and hope? In observing these creatures, we're reminded to be gentle with ourselves, to tread softly, not just on the soil, but in the chambers of our own hearts. Each heartbeat, like each footstep in the forest, is a soft thump, a quiet yet profound assertion of life, delicate but determined. Now, as we visualize leaving the clearing, moving away from this peaceful encounter, carry with you the grace of the deer. How beautifully they remind us that life, despite its unpredictability, is a tapestry woven with threads of gentle moments, quiet joys, and the silent strength of simply being. As we walk on, let the memory of the clearing and its visitors linger in your mind like a soft echo. Let it be a soothing balm for days when the world seems too loud, too rushed. Remember the deer, their soft eyes, their silent understanding of life's fragile beauty. This part of our journey, this quiet encounter, speaks to the need for moments of reflection in our own lives. Times when we step back from the hustle and bustle, find our own clearings, and simply breathe, simply be. Thank you for walking this path with me, for sharing in the quiet spectacle of life unnoticed. As we continue, let these moments inspire us to find and cherish the quiet clearings in our own lives, to nurture the gentle grace within ourselves and others. Are you ready to carry forward? There are still paths to tread and stories to gather in the embrace of these woods. Each step is a narrative, each breath a verse in the poem of the wild. Let's move forward with the grace of the deer, the curiosity of the explorer and the wisdom of the forest walker. As we continue our journey, I'd like you to picture in your mind's eye a hidden gem that lies ahead, a place few are privileged to find without a guide. It's a waterfall, secluded and majestic, hidden like a secret in the deeper folds of the forest. Its existence is hardly revealed by the path we walk, but it is there, waiting to be discovered and admired. I have taken many here, yet each visit feels as if it's the first time. The landscape seemingly untouched, always managing to stir the soul with its pure beauty. As we near this hidden cascade, imagine the air growing slightly cooler, the atmosphere imbued with a palpable sense of anticipation. The water, as it crashes down into the pool below, sends a fine mist into the air, which settles softly on the skin, refreshing like early morning dew. This waterfall is not just a spectacle of sight and sound, it's a symbol, a metaphor for life's unexpected beauties and hidden depths. It reminds us that sometimes the most beautiful experiences require us to venture off the beaten track, to follow a path guided by intuition and trust. Think of the water as it journeys endlessly. It flows from unseen springs, meanders through the forest, nourishing all it touches, before finally cascading down the rocks in a display of breathtaking beauty and power. This water does not flow aimlessly. It follows a path carved by the very essence of nature itself, a path towards something greater, something profound. As we stand here, let's reflect on our own paths. Like the water's journey to the falls, our lives are filled with hidden twists and turns, with moments of quiet beauty and roaring power. Each of us flows towards our destinies, shaped by the landscapes of our experiences, driven by the gravity of our dreams and aspirations. Now, imagine standing before this mighty cascade. Feel the spray lightly kiss your face, the air vibrant with energy. Here, in the presence of such raw natural beauty, it's easy to feel a connection to the earth, to the very cycle of life and water. It's a place that seems to pulse with the reminder that there are forces in life, both seen and unseen, that shape our journey in ways we might not always understand, but can deeply feel in moments like this. This waterfall teaches us about release and letting go. The water does not resist the fall. It embraces it, turns it into a spectacle of beauty. In our lives too, there can be beauty in letting go, in allowing ourselves to fall freely and trust that we will emerge renewed, invigorated, and perhaps even transformed. Let's take a moment here, in the presence of this metaphorical waterfall, to consider what we might need to let go. What fears, what burdens, what doubts could we release to the flow of life, trusting that we will be carried to where we need to be. Just like this water, our paths might be twisted, the falls might seem daunting, but there is beauty to be found in the descent, in the surrender to the journey. And as we prepare to leave this place, remember the waterfall's lesson, the power of nature to awe and inspire, the beauty in the journey, the grace in the fall, and the renewal that follows. Carry these lessons with you as we continue on our path, remembering that each step brings us not just closer to our destination, but deeper into the understanding of our own journeys. Thank you for pausing here with me, for reflecting on the beauty and lessons of the waterfall. Let's move forward now, carrying with us the freshness of the mist, the strength of the water, and the peace of knowing that our paths are beautiful. Each turn, each fall, a part of our unfolding story. Are you ready to see what lies beyond? Let us proceed, with hearts as open as the skies and spirits as free as the flowing water. As our journey together nears its close, let us take a gentle stroll back toward where we began. With each each step, I invite you to carry with you the tranquility and the profound experiences we've shared. Reflect on the moments of quiet wonder, the sights of hidden beauty, and the lessons the forest and its inhabitants have imparted. In this time, as the light begins to soften with the approach of evening, I'd like to reflect with you about what it means to return from such a journey. Just as the path leads us back to our starting point, so too does life often bring us back to places, not just physical, but emotional and spiritual, where we'd find ourselves revisiting lessons learned and experiences shared. Think of this return not as a repetition, but as a spiral. Each time we come back, we see the same points anew, from a different perspective, with new wisdom. This journey in the wild is much like life's journey. We venture out, we explore, we learn, and then we return, somehow changed, somehow the same. As we walk, I invite you to consider the moments from our time together that resonated with you the most. Was it the quiet contemplation beside the ancient tree, the gentle grace of the deer in the clearing, or perhaps the powerful release at the waterfall? Each of these moments, like beads on a string, form a necklace of memories, yours to keep and cherish. Let's talk about carrying these experiences with us as we return to our daily lives. How can the peace of the forest inform your days when you find yourself amidst noise and chaos? How can the steadiness of the ancient trees inspire you when you feel shaken? Remember the deer, embodying both curiosity and caution, and consider how these qualities might balance your own interactions in the world. As we draw nearer to the edge of the forest, I encourage you to think of this, not as an end, but as a beginning. Every ending is merely the start of something new. What new paths might you explore, inspired by what you've learned here? What new perspectives might you bring to your everyday life? Perspectives glimpsed through the canopy of the forest or in the mirrored surface of the stream. In these final moments together, I thank you for sharing this journey with me. It has been my pleasure and my privilege to guide you, to walk beside you, and to discover alongside you. Remember, the forest is always here, a sanctuary of peace and wisdom, awaiting your return. And as we part ways, let me leave you with this thought. The beauty of nature is not just in the landscapes we have walked through, but also in the internal landscapes we have explored together. Nature is a great teacher, and its lessons are eternal. Carry these lessons forward. Let them guide you as the stars guide the night traveller. Finally, as we say our farewells, take with you the calm, the serenity and the strength you felt on this adventure. Let them be a light for you in darker times, a reminder of the tranquility and beauty that exist in the world and within you. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey, for your openness to the whispers of the wild. May your path be ever gentle, your burdens light, and your spirit as free as the deer we encountered. Until we meet again, keep the wild in your heart and its whispers in your ears. Farewell,